everyone. I'm almost, or I am, a bit late. I'm sorry. I couldn't access the room that I'm in just until now. Hi, and thank you for joining me. God, I'm a bit rushed, I feel like, but that's fine. We'll sort it out. Let's see where we are. We're here. I hope you feel like you're in the same room or in the right room. Welcome, guys. So happy to have you join me. Please feel free to let me know where in the world you're watching from. We got Madison joining from Stockholm. Hello, Madison. Nice to have you on board. I see that we already have a question from Mohammed asking how to create YouTube shorts from a long video. And I don't know that because I've never created a short out of a long video. But I'm guessing you're going to have to cut it up some way. Morning. Hi from Lyon. Bonjour. Karlsruhe. Nice. Hi, guys. Thank you for being here today. From Eichem, close to Rottweil. Hello, Ralph. Hi, Tilda. I'm so glad that you wanted to join and spend the upcoming 45 minutes with me. Today, we are going to talk about the full funnel, which might actually feel like I don't know, it was a buzzword like mid 20s. What is it that? 2010, but it's still relevant because we still want to make sure that we're guiding our audiences in the right way, that we're creating the right type of content for all of our audiences, if they're ready to buy or not. So let's just make sure that we leave today with some tips and tricks. I am going to show you some examples on the type of videos that we're making to, speak to the ones that never heard of Storykit before, the people who are considering us, and, how to really make sure that we're getting the last couple of ones to really take action. So lots of videos today. Hopefully there's time at the end to, I'll have time to quickly show you how I create them using Storykit. You're happy to stay around for that. But let's get into it. Hello. Let's see, this is where we are. Welcome. What we're going to do today is, I'm thinking that no one, or at least very few marketing departments, are getting a bigger budget in 2025. Everyone that I've ever spoke to are doing some budget cuts, lowering, getting fewer resources, but we still have to be everywhere all the time. So we're going to have to really use what we have and succeed with a lot less than we did maybe 5 years ago. And then I'm going to show you how we move how we set up and create our full funnel campaigns in-house using, only a small little social team and a little content team. I say teams, but really we're just 2 people, me and our content manager, Maddie, and how we use what we've produced, what we've created, and using what we have to guide our audiences. So it's all about thriving with what you have. Disclaimer is that I'm not going to go into any LinkedIn campaign or meta managers. I'm just going to stay on the creative side of it. And then whatever campaign manager or tool you're using, I'll leave that up to you because you probably know that better than I do. So, if you've been around on these webinars before, I like to start out with really trying to hammer in and break the myth of how much we're supposed to publish. Because even though I mention this in every webinar that I'm in, or whenever I'm doing some kind of session for other marketers, there is always a couple of people that really want to understand, or not understand, but still being asked, is it true that we have to publish a lot? Aren't we going to bore our audiences out? Or aren't we going to overwhelm them? I kind of feel now that it's my life mission to let marketers and social media managers know that you can't really do enough. Sorry about that, but we have to have a content velocity, and we have to stay consistent. Volume, like my our director of communications, my manager said yesterday to our company, volume is boring to talk about, because volume for a marketer or a social media manager, that can feel overwhelming. We have to do a lot. But I think it's even more important, and what she highlighted yesterday, is that we have to stay consistent. So if you only choose to publish something twice a week, that is fine. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna overwhelm you saying you have to publish 30 times a day. You can, of course, that's always a good thing, but staying consistent is a lot more important. And the reason I say this is because, well, we have to think about the alternative. Like, what's your option to not posting? Would that be posting every once in a while, like every other week, and expect people to know who we are and stay top of mind? That's not really doable. The whole reason why you don't have to be afraid to publish a lot is because everything on social media, every feature, every update that they make, every algorithm change is designed to help them make as much money as possible. So just remember that, because when I realized that, I kind of like found an ease in, there is no such thing as a bad piece of content unless you're like being mean to someone, or you can do wrong, of course. There is bad content, but the worst piece of content is the one never published. So don't be afraid to try and test and fail and learn from mistakes, because the algorithms or the platforms are never going to punish you for trying stuff and publishing a lot. Because more content means that you're allowing someone to spend more time on the platform, and there's nothing they love more than keeping our attention. That is everything that they think, that's all they aim to do, is keeping us on a platform, because more time spent on a platform means more ad revenue for them. So let's just debunk that myth that there is such a thing as too much posting. It's not. But I'm going to move on, and I want to start in an end. I want to start in giving you some context to social media success, because we're all aiming for succeeding on social media. I name a webinar like how to succeed with less and how to succeed with what you already have. What does social media success mean? So let's just debunk that as well. Being successful on social media can mean a lot of things. It can be getting tons of engagements on your posts. It's driving pipeline, people booking meetings, job applicants coming in, products sold. It's different to different brands. But either way, this is where I wanted to come back to, is that success is always a game of consistency, showing up, delivering value, staying on top of mind for people. And the brands that win on social are the ones that keep showing up, even though the results aren't instant. Like what we're doing today might have effect in 1 or 2 years. That feels overwhelming for sure. But if you picture, imagine yourself, there's a global pandemic happening. that has happened, but still, imagine that we are unable to leave our houses, we can't meet up with people. So brands are losing income, obviously, just like there are a lot of brands are doing today because of an economic downturn and conflicts. But no one is really buying what they used to buy before a pandemic. Let's just have that as a context. But then imagine that there's 2 pretty new car brands. We can call one Car Kit and the other one Storykit. My imagination is on top today. So there's Car Kit thinking that, well, maybe we should put some of our marketing efforts on hold since no one is buying a car these days. And Storykit, on the other hand, things that, well, we might as well just keep showing up, keep deliver value, so that when an economic downturn or when a pandemic's over, we'll be on top of mind for the people that are ready to buy. Well, we've left the pandemic, the last one at least. But the fact is that the fact that consistency like is key and was key back then still holds. Keep showing up, keep staying top of mind, delivering value will always hold true. So regardless of what social media success mean to you and your brand, well, it's always about keep indulging, keep being part of the conversation. So we have to stay consistent. We have to keep showing up, but we're getting less budget. We have fewer resources probably than what we did maybe a year or two ago. But then we're still expected to do more, do the same, or even more. And it always comes down to this. Well, if only we had the money. If only we could hire more people to create more content. If only we had more budget to put on these production, to call in an agency to help us really leverage the channels that we're already on. We really want to do a lot of TikToks now. Well, one TikTok video takes like 4 hours to make, even though it's only 15 seconds. And then you're going to have to reuse that in different ways. Well, I'm here to give you tips and tricks on how to leverage what you have, meaning the small amount of money or no money at all. Because it's never really about the budget, because there are lots and lots of tools out there to help you keep showing up on a small budget. I mean, Storykit, yes, I'm a marketer, so I'm going to have to mention it, will allow you to 10 times the output that you have today without increasing spend. You can pay, the lowest basic tier, and if you pay like £200 a month, one video can either cost £200, or you can make 20 videos and pay £2 per video. God, I'm bad at math, but you get the idea. So it's not about the budget, but I also want to show you how to really leverage what you have on a low budget. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I'm going to start off with 3 ways to thrive without increasing spend. Because I just want to share the things that we do, and hopefully you'll get somewhat inspired, because we're a very small marketing team. We are one social media person, that's me. We are one content manager who produces all of the content that we publish anywhere. And we have one web manager, making sure that things are published on the website as well. So we are in every little bucket all the time. And as a lot of companies, we're trying to make the most out of what we already have on our hands. So I'm going to share with you what you can do to create full funnel campaigns and really thriving with that without increasing the spend. Okay, so the first one is that you can move as much as you can of your marketing in-house. Of course, there will be occasions and projects and situations that will require the bigger spending, like taking in an agency to really make that top tier hero video, where you're going to want the really nice lighting. You're going to want to do a full-on campaign with really these really cool visuals and lighting and sound effects and everything. But we can do that, and we can spend a ton of money on that. But since it's all about consistency these days, regardless of how many times a week you're going to show up, you're still going to want to do that over a longer time period, because we can't go online in 2025 2 times this year and imagine that people are still going to know who we are in 2026. So for all of the small instances where you want to keep delivering value, so that people are flooded with content these days, and the only way to meet up with that amount of content is to yourself be relentless. You have to keep repeating your messages over and over again in this very saturated digital landscape that we are, according to ChatGPT. So moving as much as you can of your marketing in-house, being the one that actually you produce, I'm guessing if you're a marketing department, you're producing a lot of, articles, reports, visuals, text posts. You're putting stuff down to make sure that you educate and you inspire your audiences. And using all of that, taking that in-house and actually leveraging that on social media will not only reduce the time you're spending on like revisions and approvals, but it will also mean that you never have to start from scratch. So instead of every day coming to the office and thinking that we're going to reinvent the wheel and that we're going to be really initiative and innovating, we can always reuse what's already on our hands, making sure that the article and the newsletter that we produced and the reports that we've spent a lot of time, like the annual reports that we're doing, making sure that they really get the attention that they deserve, and that we actually, we can just use it as a marketing tool to build our brand. It will, of course, increase your volume and your flexibility, because since you never have to start from scratch, you can always go back to what you once produced, making sure that you use that. So that will obviously cut down on the cost, because what's costing is like the resources, meaning people. So less people involved, meaning that we are in charge and that we're responsible and that we really make means of what we already produced will cut down on your cost. The next thing that we make sure to, or like what will actually really save you money, is to create high quality creatives to reduce ad spend. Because, an ad in a magazine, if you publish an ad, that will always cost you the same amount of money, no matter how good that ad is. The publishing magazines will always charge you an amount of money for putting an ad into that magazine. But on social media, it's actually like, it's the opposite. You know that, but it's the opposite, because the better the ad is, the better the price will be. And what better means here is like, it's only determined by the messaging that you have. You say something that resonates with your audience, you'll get loads of more clicks, and that will reduce the cost per click, of course. So if you spend 100 euros on an ad in a magazine, that ad is always going to cost you 100 euros. But if you spend 100 euros on a couple of ads on LinkedIn, that is gonna, the cost is gonna be reduced if it gets a lot of clicks, because you will get 1,500 clicks for 100 euros, but you might just get 2 clicks or like 2 searches from the ad in the magazine. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But remember that high quality, so I was saying, like, that doesn't mean expensive ads, or it doesn't mean like, that it's high quality because it's, of course, it's going to be high resolution and like you're going to want to put out nice visuals, but it doesn't mean that everything has to be like super sharp. High quality here means what it's effective. It's the content that captures your attention, it communicates clearly, and it drives action in some way. So if you're on a budget, I'm guessing lots of people are, focus on being clear and simple, clean visuals, readable texts, clear message. Especially if we're talking bottom of the funnel, I'm going to show you examples later. But if we're talking about content that we really want to, that we create to drive action, keep it as simple as possible. No clutter, no complications, no overcomplicating stuff. High quality also means that you have a strong branding, that you are recognizable in the feed, that people immediately understand that this ad belongs to your brand. Consistency in colors, fonts, styling, to really become recognizable. If you want to film this yourself, a smartphone will do it these days. Decent lighting can do wonders, but really using like, sharp, crispy images, that you can find in any stock library. We got millions of them in the Storykit. Try to platform optimize what you're doing. So right formats, aspect ratios, all of that, that's already built into Storykit, so you don't have to think about that. And of course, something relatable, being authentic, being personal, use your storytelling, just keep it real. But that's, like marketing, playbook, preschool, all these things. But just make sure that you, what I really want you to take with you is that quality is about maximizing the impact that you have on that ad, not about an expensive production we're talking about quality. So the third little tip to thrive with less is to make sure that repurposing is the foundation of your content plan. And this is something that we live and breathe at Storykit. Don't start from scratch. If you have 3 articles on your website, that can easily be turned into 9, 12, 16, infinite amount of repurposed small videos or text posts, or whatever you decide or format you decide to go with. This also, of course, saves a lot of time on approval processes, because if it's already published on your website, I'm guessing your manager or boss, director, they're going to think, yes, you can use that wording. Yes, you can use that copy, because since it's on your website. And since repetition is key on social media, when by the time you're getting really sick of what you're saying on social, that's probably when it's starting to stick with your audiences. Recognition is key, repetition is key. So those POVs, your key messages, you can really reiterate them all the time. Efficiency, reach, of course, will improve, and it allows you to test. So you have this really strong key takeaway from an article. You can try to word that out and use it in 100 different ways, because you can't publish enough. You can't, keep showing up, be consistent in your messaging and in your publishing. So, and this is what we're going to focus on the rest of this little webinar that we are having, and that you've decided to join, which I'm super happy about. So we're going to really talk about repurposing, creating a content plan, a full funnel campaign. I'm talking video here, but regardless of if you choose to tell your stories with images or with text posts or links, I don't know. Regardless, making repurposing using what we have. And also, when I'm going to do this, like, top to bottom funnel wise. But of course, we're always going to have to remember that nothing on social especially is linear. So this is something that we talked a lot about yesterday when we had a lunch and learn session here at Storykit. Sometimes, I work with organic posting. So I handle, for instance, our LinkedIn account. So I make sure to publish, repurpose whatever our content manager has published. And, I create these videos that I don't really expect someone like of course, let me rewind. I'm sorry. Our goal at marketing is, of course, to bring in new leads and opportunities that will hopefully eventually turn into a customer. I become a user at Storykit. That's what we do. That's what marketing does at any company. But we really, a year ago, decided to really prioritize in-feed content. So no click, 0-click content. Whatever, like if we have this really amazing article, of course, I want people to click through and read that piece of article because it's good. But I'm also treating social media as the little universe and platform that it is. If someone goes online to scroll on LinkedIn or Instagram, they don't do that most of the time. We don't go on social media to leave that platform to find other pieces of content elsewhere. We're scrolling because we want to be educated and entertained while scrolling. That's what we do. We take 10 minutes of our day and we decide to just, sit back, relax, scroll a little bit. So what we're doing is that we're making sure to publish content that someone can consume. Hopefully they'll think, okay, cool video tool, cool automation platform, and then they'll scroll on. So if someone viewed our video, we've reached our goal with that piece of content. And I am certain that even if that's not that video that I published like this morning is going to lead to a lead showing up in our CRM system, I know that by the time, someone has seen 200 of those videos, when they're going to think about what automation platform to buy next to create videos using the content that they have, they're going to think of Storykit. That's not going to show up in the CRM system as well. So I'll just have to keep grinding. But every once in a while, I meet with a user and they say, well, we actually decided to buy when we saw that video that you created about how to create a full funnel campaign using what you have, So it's never linear. You don't know when someone is actually going to take action. It could be a image ad that they see on Tuesday because they saw 20 videos the week before. Or it could be that they have seen 20 ads, Storykit's top of mind, and then by the time they see an organic post coming from, based on an article about how Storykit measures with Canva, that could be the thing that also makes them take action. So we're working with fluffy metrics. We don't really know if we're doing is the right thing, but we just have to keep showing up, and eventually you catch someone saying, we decided to really go for Storykit because we saw what you published on your LinkedIn feed. Cool. Okay. So let's have sit back, relax, get your popcorn, because I'm going to show you some videos that we create and that performed really well for us in 2024 that we've created in an attempt to guide our audience through this little funnel. Okay, top of funnel. This is where we, of course, want to capture attention. I'm not going to talk too much about what the funnel does to a person, because I'm pretty certain that you already know. You guys know a lot more about marketing than I do. I'm just here to give you the, to inspire you with some video ideas, really. So to capture attention, might as well say it. We, of course, want to reach a very broad audience because we want to build awareness. So this is where we're using our brand storytelling. We do thought leadership. We share knowledge, industry trends. We also do a lot of solution-driven content. So we're answering up to the industry pain points that we have. That could, for example, be when Maddie, our fabulous content manager, writes a terrific article when she puts us up against the, not our competitors, because we're very different from Canva and Premiere Pro, but still that's always the video tools that we are being compared to in many sales processes. So we turn that article into a short and a little snappy video, super easy to make. We just throw it in the tool, and we do this to educate someone and to, build our POV and answering pain points that people have. Another video that we create at this stage of the funnel is, just using our own storytelling. We're copying small little snippets and sentences and copy from our website. We put that in the tool and create a video out of this. And I know that a lot of people often say, well, you can't talk about yourself on social media. That's not why people are on social media. True, but every once in a while, I think we can afford really just talking about why we exist and what we do, because that can bring someone over the edge and actually, we do it to build trust, to build loyalty, and really just tell people who we are so that they don't have to ask. So just use and this is what I mean with cutting costs and really being efficient, because we can use all of the approved copy that we have on our website. I can just reuse that into a video, so I don't have to double check with any VPs or directors if this is suitable for social media. I know that it is because they've decided to put it on the website. Another one, and this is one that I want to show you also because of the fact that we published this one. It's from an article that we turned into a little listicle video. Didn't put any money on it, didn't really, just literally just raffled something together because we were scheduling posts for the summer, last summer. So it's this one, and that was 3 steps to kickstart your content creation after your summer vacation. I made this maybe in like May last year, and then I scheduled it for the first week of August. I was still on a summer break, but social media doesn't take summer break, so I wanted to be consistent and keep up a high activity on social media, even though I was having a good time on the beach, but this turned out to be one of our top performing posts that last year. And it's completely made as a marketing touch point for someone. It's for just, educate and inspire, just solve a pain point for the industry, like how to reuse what you already have for the summer break. So that went really well, and you can do that, of course, yourself. Moving on, so really just educating, keeping people on the platform, really just building trust with our brand is what we're doing here. Middle of funnel, this is also where we want to continue to build that trust. If people are considering different video tools, this is hopefully where we can nudge them over the edge of becoming a buyer. So of course, for us as a B2B business, we focus on our customer testimonials and success stories. So I've made 3 examples based on the same case study that we did with Canon a year back or so. Super short and snappy, starting off with a quote with the user. Here we are, that's Åsa. And I mean, a quote with a face, a person, a peer, an industry peer is of course super effectful on social media. People like to watch people, and they trust humans more than they trust brands. So this was, for instance, when I had, you can of course repurpose and leverage a case study infinite amount of times, but just to change it up sometimes. I just go with the exact same copy and storytelling, but I change out the assets. So oh, sorry, this is another type of testimonial video where we start off with some background and like background challenge solution result type. So it really gives you the whole idea of what Canon needed and what results they've had with Storykit in its full entirety. So we're mixing up with some quotes, some cool visuals, but really the case story was already written. It was published online. So this is just another way of distributing it. But coming back to what I was meant to say is sometimes you don't always have pictures of the users, or maybe they don't want to be in the video, or you just want to change up. You can still start with a quote, but then use stock assets in the background. Also super effectful. And it really allows you to use one longer piece of content, turn that into as many small snippets and effectful videos as you want that you can keep pushing out over the upcoming 3 months or so. Another way that we try to build trust and have people really consider Storykit is, of course, repurposing the webinars that we do. I think the next one I'm going to play has sound on it, so I'm going to be quiet. But we did a webinar together with Barbara DeLalis from Harvard Business School back in February. And of course, I want to keep using that webinar.
Think about with every piece of original content, it is not a once and done. It is a valuable asset.
So one of the worst pitfalls that we see people fall into when it comes to communication is being in a world where they have to have everything approved at all times and having to ask for permission all the time. And if you can't be the driver of the communication, then it's going to be really, really hard.
Beautifully said. We have to keep.
So that's how we create we take a snippet from the webinar using any kind of tool you like, putting it into Storykit and using the subtitle block to transcribe and edit to get subtitles for it. So moving down to bottom of funnel, I should also say that top of funnel, of course, we measure video views and impressions, how many people we reached. We don't care too much about engagement because people engage with videos by viewing them, by watching them. Like liking, commenting, that's secondary. People, if you have made someone consume a video in its whole, that's the best engagement metric you can go for. Middle of funnel, of course, we also look at watch time, if how many people consume the whole thing, but eventually also click-through rates and lead generation. If someone decided to, every once in a while we do post links, so did someone click their way through to the whole article, or did someone watch the entire webinar afterwards? Bottom of funnel, this is of course when we want to keep it really short and snappy. It's very direct, it's action driven. We do product walkthroughs, feature highlights. We do press releases, is often a longer piece of content, but that is of course very actionable. Personalized video messages whenever that's applicable. Customer success stories also here, but we do also product highlights to really tell people instantly what we do and how we do it. But the best, when it came to when we measured click-through rates last year and whatever videos that performed the best in terms of making someone take action, that was the webinar promotions that we did. So it's going to be a lot of me now, and I'm sorry about that, but we did one in October. I forgot to remove the sound here. So keeping it super short, super actionable. People will get an idea of what the webinar is about and when and where we're hosting it. That's all they need to know. And then we can use the text post, of course, to elaborate on what the webinar is going to be about. Well, we want people to instantly see what something is about. And this could be a webinar, or of course, book a demo now to discover how you can, transform, automate your video creation. So 10 seconds long. Another one that we did back in, I think this was 2 years ago, November 30th. So again, just really, what is it about? Take action, CTA. Super short, to the point. And this is, of course, where we measure success with conversions, signups, ROI. And allowing yourself to let people know who you are. Just take a couple of sentences from your About Us page, turn that into a video, and you can keep delivering, well, maybe not value here, but, keep delivering your key messages. All right, guys. If you want to recreate these videos, that's not a problem. If you're a Storykit users, I can just send you the storyboard IDs. We are actually right on time today. So let's just do a quick recap and then we'll see if there are any questions. So quality doesn't have to be expensive productions. It can also be just impactful, effective, strong branding, communication, authentic messages, straight to the point, no fuss, no clutter. You can cut down costs by using what you already have, guide your audience with your existing content. And it's really just about being consistent. Using what you have allows you to show up, stay top of mind, and tell people who you are over and over again until it really sticks. Top of funnel, we use solution-driven content, our brand storytelling. We tell our stories, we tell our mission, we tell how we solve industry peers' challenges, and how we are different to other brands. Middle of funnel, customer testimonials, behind the scenes, something that I really love, using the people that are actually, you know, selling the product, humanize them the best way possible. And then bottom of funnel, short, direct, super action-driven content. Okay, again, I'm happy to send out these videos. Don't be afraid to publish, to, you know, be consistent, keep showing up and deliver value. Keep it top of funnel, your brand, your storytelling, 60 up to 90 seconds to really like catch the audience's attention and then tell your stories about who you are. When you're creating action-driven content, you can have a video up to, I think, 15 seconds is the perfect little duration. Okay, let's see. Question from Ralph. Is it possible to get the video idea after the webinar? Of course, I will upload my keynote, or I will send out the keynote to you, and you can get all of the videos and the ID so that you can recreate them. Many thanks, Heidi. Bye-bye, and until next time. I'm in a hurry and have to leave now. No worries, Ralph and Bernard. Thank you for joining. And of course, off you are to whatever you're up to today. Always super happy to meet you. Feel free to, and please join our Facebook group, our community there. We share videos and IDs and industry trends and webinars and everything for you. It's called Storykit video for social media. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Make sure to follow us so you see what we're up to next. And I will see you in your inbox very soon if there are no other questions, but we will send out the recording and presentation in just this afternoon. All right, guys. Happy to see you today. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Linda. I'll see you in a couple of weeks again. Thank you, Madison. Thank you for being here, for your useful insights. Thank you, Mohammed, for joining. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Petra. Thank you, Sonia. I love, you know, realizing that there are actual people behind the screen that I'm talking to. I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.